Alright, let's see how this is going. Y'all let me know how audio is sounding. If I sound wonk city, if I'm sounding pretty good. Hello friends, it's me again. I'm trying a little bit of a different mic setup this time, so just let me know how it sounds. Let me know if the music is too loud or not comparative to my voice. I feel like everything tends to be kind of quiet, but... So basically I got the Rode NGT, and it has USB-C on it, so I can actually plug it in and use it for my streams too. So now I don't have to have the Yeti all up in the thing, and I don't need I'm just using my normal boom arm that I use when I do like video recording and stuff, which is cool. It's like right here. Good stuff. Good stuff. How's everyone doing? It's 11 a.m. here where I'm at. I heard someone was from Greece, 6 p.m. Having a good evening. Just a bit of delay. Yeah, I can't figure out the delay because I think it's in the audio, not the video. And I don't think I can delay. I tried delaying the video before and it looked crazy. Let's see what we can do real quick. Yeah, because even this is like a... So we can do video delay. And it's like barely off, but I think it's the audio that's off, not the video. So if I delay the video, I feel like it's gonna be all crazy. 10 a.m. Where you at, Cali? West Coast. Looks great and in sync for me. Yeah, it's like barely off. I just delayed the video a little bit. So if I look, can y'all confirm? One of these days I'm gonna get the stream looking right, so maybe I'll take the delay off. Cause it's barely a delay. We're talking like the tiniest delay. Fan of your work all the way from Jamaica. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was supposed to let me move the chat box so I can actually, there we go. I can look this way and y'all can kind of see my face while I'm talking. So yeah, all this stuff right here, this is GFX. Actually, this one right here is not. Let's load some GFX stuff. GFX only. There we go. So all of this stuff right here was edited with the Natural Fills preset pack, the GFX 100. And if y'all aren't familiar with it, that's a 100 megapixel medium format camera. I have one in my possession at the moment, just for a short time. So I'm gonna be looking on making some content for it, and also just filming some stuff and talking about my experience using the GFX, which has been really good actually, surprisingly good. But yeah, what I wanted to do is kind of just show y'all some of the pictures, go through and cull this because I need to cull it anyway, that kind of stuff. I feel like there's not enough light on this. Yeah. Natural Fills for Capture One, please. I'm working on it. I can't get it to work right. I don't know why. I just can't convert it and have it look right. So until I feel comfortable with it and it feels like Natural Fills does in Lightroom, then I'm not gonna be able to release it. And I mean, the way Natural Fills works is it's nearly a one-click thing. Like you're putting it on and you're making a slight adjustment, and I can't seem to get that in Capture One yet. So hopefully at some point when I get that going, like I'll have that. But for now, no Natural Fills for Capture One. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. But yeah. Oh yeah, y'all wanna see that Brenizer? So here's the first one I made, but let's make a virtual copy so I can just show you how ridiculous this photo is. Look at this crop. Look how big this is. Mind you, this is 100 megapixel camera. This is at least like 10 photos merged together. If you're using OBS or SOBS, go to advanced audio settings, sync offset, fix the delay. Yeah, so I put a delay on my video and it probably threw it off. So let's get rid of that. Advanced audio set. Oh, that's an actual, just a setting. Boo 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 boo. Advanced. Recording, video. I don't see any audio. Is it just under audio? Devices, meters, advanced monitoring. Push to talk. I mean, it's fine. We'll leave it like that for now. So this is a Brenizer with the GFX. And you can see, especially because it's the GFX, like I can crop in so hard. Brenizer, I think it's Brenizer. It's someone's last name. Let's see how ridiculous of a crop we can get. So I totally recomposed the photo. Is this not loading the real photo? Because it shouldn't look like this. What is going on? Oh. Has it not loaded? Don't do this to me, GFX. There's my computer struggles. I'm switching over to Fujifilm from Canon, thanks to you. Awesome. Team Fuji, there it goes. There we go. So I cropped way into this and it still looks great, obviously, because it's 100 megapixels. And yeah, at this crop, it's finally getting down to an X-T2 size. So that's 6,000 by 4,000. So like I was able to go from here to here. This is the same photo, but it like nearly looks like two different photos since I was able to crop in so hard on it. And mind you, it's only looking like that because it doesn't want to load for some reason. Lightroom's hating. Any workflow slowdown with the huge files? So far, no. I mean, the files really, they're not. So I shot in compressed RAW. So the files, they were all like 60 megs or something a piece. They weren't that bad. I was actually kind of surprised. But yeah, things they didn't feel so bad. Hold on, let me. What? FC3? Oh yeah, that's my. I tried to take some drone shots, but everything ran late, so there was like no photos. I mean, yeah, you see here I'm scrolling through it. I mean, I do have Lightroom set to mainly load smart previews. And it should have built smart previews, but it's saying that it doesn't have any. Let's see, file handling, medium size, JPEG previews, performance. I got my GPU in there, which I got a Radeon 7, so it's like 16 gigs of VRAM, which Adobe doesn't really need, but I also have the i9, so it's able to handle. So yeah, it seems fine. Like it definitely was slower, but it wasn't so slow that I was like, oh no, what can I do? I shot with the GFX 100 a few months ago, and I'm now pining for this being the GFX and beefed up X Pro body. Ooh. So what is a good lens to start off with the Fuji X-T3? I would say either the 23 f2 or the 35 f2. I think those are good starting lenses in my personal opinion. Now I did notice, and I don't know if it was because there wasn't enough light or the sensor got dirty, but I was getting a lot of like weird artifacting on some of my photos. But yeah, look at this. I was over here burst shotting with the XT or with the GFX like it meant nothing. Look at this burst. How many photos is this? 22. I mean, you can do this. I was doing this with the GFX. That's why everyone's like, oh, medium format. This thing is fast. I mean, obviously it's not as fast as like the XT3, but it's fast. I was surprised, especially with that 110 f2. That thing focuses like the f2 lenses on the XT3. I was highly impressed. This thing is crazy. Like, I can turn this into a GIF. Thanks so much for your videos. I'm a wedding photographer currently shooting Sony, but want to switch to the X Pro 3 and X-T4 setup. Awesome, that's cool. Yeah, let's see real quick. Let's edit this first one. So I'm just gonna level it up, throw that natural feels on it. GFX is crazy. But the XT, yeah, the GFX it's impressive. Now, so as far as some of my first thoughts of using it, it could handle a wedding. It can. I know there's not a lot of videos, and I hope to make some videos about this, about using it for weddings and things. It can do it, but I don't think it could handle a reception. The focusing system on it's just a little bit too slow. I just don't see it. I don't see it keeping up with a reception. Also, too, putting flashes on it was kind of wonky. I usually had the flash on the camera, and I don't know, just the size, and it didn't feel so great. The camera's already big. But aside from that, like, if I were to have, let's say I had a full GFX setup, right? So 2 GFXs and shot it like I normally did. So a wide lens on one and a close lens on the other. I could make it up to like right before the reception. So right after a couple portraits, and then swap out for like XT3s or something, and then do the rest of the night on XT3s. I would totally do it. Like, if I had the money to do that, which those things are too expensive, but I would totally do it because it's fast enough to keep up with the normal parts of a wedding day. And that's another thing, like a lot of people, I don't know, they sit around and talk like weddings, you have to be so crazy fast, but you really don't. It's not until you maybe get to reception where people are like running around and stuff. For the most part, like things are pretty laid out, pretty straightforward, you know, like you show up, you start getting people's details, you start getting people ready. That's a very calm atmosphere. Everyone's kind of standing around. I usually set up people, you know, where they're gonna be. It's no big deal. Then after we do that, maybe we do a first look or something. That's also people are set up where you want them to be, whatever. You get to the ceremony, it can keep up with that. I don't know if the 63 f2.8, it's a little bit slow on focusing, but I think it could do it. Then after that, you know, you're taking family photos. That's all just straight photos. Then you're taking couple portraits, so y'all, you know what the, you know, like the GFX can do that. It can do it. It's when you get to the reception that I'd be like, I don't know. If it was half the price, would you own one? I would buy one so quick. I would buy it so quick if it was half the price. I would be in there and I'd be like, I'm actually gonna, I want to do the transform. Yeah, we'll sync that as well. But I mean, yeah, these are big files, but you see it right here. Lightroom's doing it. I'm gonna try and turn this into a GIF. It's gonna be kind of like all over the place because I didn't keep it very straight, but Did it set all these to 4? It did not. Come on. I can't just say, hey, 4. There it goes. Yeah, when I say I'm impressed with the camera, like, I can't begin to tell you all how ridiculously good it was. I was very, very impressed. And the crazy thing yet again, because it's like, I can make a virtual copy of this and literally just like, let's see if I can, let's see, let's do custom. See if it'll let me try to get a 2x3 crop on this one. Yeah, it goes. You know what I'm saying? I have so much room to play with. I can just straight up change the aspect ratio of a photo. So like, shooting wide is a huge advantage because you can just shoot things however you want to. And then just be like, oh, let me crop it. Because look, what's the size of this? Yeah, it's still way bigger than an XT4 file. So you literally could just be in here cropping things to the ends of the world and just, and it's fine. It's just, it's crazy. It's so crazy. Like how? Look at that. Like, look at that. Do you know other camera websites well priced? Do you know other camera websites? Like other brands that are well priced? I'm not very familiar with all the other brands and the pricing anymore. I've kind of, you know, put myself in the Fuji bucket pretty hard. It's all I do. It's all I dream of. Fuji. Fuji. Yesterday was the wedding. When will you deliver the photos? So generally I quote 4 to 8 weeks, but obviously things are very different now, and these weddings are also very small comparative. So I'm hoping to get them done sooner. I have another wedding I have to edit, but they signed a non-disclosure type of clause. So I can't edit their stuff on stream, but I need to finish theirs first and then finish this. So maybe like 2 weeks at most. How fast is autofocus? It's fast. It's pretty fast. It, like I said, this can keep up with a wedding. Like a great example for you all. Now the 63 f2.8, it runs on what I like to call the old Fuji kind of focusing system. That thing is kind of slow. It has the I can grab the camera while I talk about it at least, so I can show y'all. All right, so the 63 2.8, it has that old school where the thing comes out the front when it focuses, and it's a little slow. It could keep up, but it was a little slow. Now this one, the 110 f2, this thing was stupid. It was so fast. I was like blown away by how fast it was. There's no card in one. It's like freaking out. I did have to buy new cards. Is this it here? Yeah. So I bought UHS 2 300 megabit per second cards, a 128 gig. So this thing was kind of expensive, but I wish I could like show y'all. Can y'all see that? Here, let me turn back on the focusing sound. Okay, here we go. So 110 f2. It's in there, y'all. And on continuous, it was good too. Cause yet again, it has like the new, I don't know what it is, the new motors or whatever that Fuji uses. It's fast. Now the 63, this thing was kind of slow. And like, it's good for portraits and stuff, but if you were like shooting a ceremony, also, I don't know if y'all can hear the lens too. See, so that was just too close. But I mean, comparative, talking about for a medium format, this thing performs. It's in there, like it's doing it. Do you turn off the beep? Oh yeah, I hate the beep. The first thing I do when I buy a new camera is turn off the autofocus beep. I don't know why, to me the autofocus beep just screams like amateur. I don't know why. It's just a weird pet peeve. So here we go. This is the this is the 110 f2 on continuous autofocus. Look at that. And I mean, they weren't walking fast, but they were walking. So here's a shot that was kind of missed. But yeah, I'm at 200. So it may have also been me shaking. So I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. And then yet again, because it is 100 megapixels, I can literally just, oh, you know, one thing I forgot to, because it's medium format, the aspect ratio is different. So I've been having to crop everything at a 2:3. You know, I can crop into this thing. Look at that, 100 times all the way in there. I can crop this as much as I want to. It's crazy. 110, what is the 35 millimeter? I think 110 is like an 85. Also, there is a 35 millimeter mode. I don't know what that is, actually. There was a button for it or something. Yeah, I don't even know what all this thing can do. What is 35 millimeter mode? Oh, I need to use it for a video too. I hate these where the thing comes out on the front. You see how it like hunts like that? It's loud. It's like so there's some shots of the groom I got real quick before the ceremony. So this was like, this whole day, it was a little all over the place. I was a little sad about that, but basically the bride was running late and then it rained right before the ceremony was supposed to start. So it was just overall kind of unfortunate. Oh yeah, here goes another Brenizer because I just felt like being ridiculous. What about bokeh comparing with the 56? So what I think I'm gonna do, because someone suggested it in a comment, I'm gonna do the GFX versus the XT4. And I'll do a comparison between the 110 and the 56 and the 63 and the 35. I'm not gonna be like super like scientific about it. I'm just gonna shoot and kind of show the pictures so you can kind of see the difference. Because that's one big thing too with a lot of how this camera's working. People are like, oh, it's $10,000. Like, what am I really getting? But I can tell you now, I can clearly see how much of a difference quality is in the photo. Like, it really is kind of ridiculous. So you're definitely getting more quality. So both my Sony cameras and got the X-T3 gear, the best investment I made. Awesome. We got Team Fuji in the house. So yeah, I'm definitely, and I'm trying to, I only have this thing for 2 weeks. So I'm hoping to like record a lot of stuff like soon. Yeah, this was with the 63. So this was a Brenizer with the 63. I can just get some of this stuff removed in the background. This little trash can here. This is a great shot. And then yet again, like, because I did a Brenizer, like I have space. I can do whatever I want to with this. Do your presets work well with Sony? They do. Actually, out of all the other camera systems, I think Sony is the one that works best along with the natural fills. Now, it works good with any, but it works best along Sony. It's just the Sony is a little different in like the greens, I think it is, than Fuji is. But other than that, yeah, it works on everything. So I've never actually shot a Sony camera. I've seen the RAWs because I've had some second photographers who shoot Sony, and I've been highly impressed with the RAWs. And I've edited some RAWs before, and I've always been like, okay, Sony, I see you. But outside of that, no, I've never shot with a Sony. But yeah, that's what I'm using on all these photos, is the natural fields preset. So yeah, you see the aspect ratio is different. So I have to come in here and switch it to a 2:3 to fit with my XT photos. 2 weeks? Is it time to change your hair color? Just like disappear. Like, yay! Where John is gone. Where'd the GFX go? It's gone with him. But yeah, there's so much range to play with. It's crazy. Just so good. And this was low light at this point. We had no light. So the sun sets here around like 8:20, 8:30 p.m. And we didn't start doing portraits till like 7:30. Everything just ran so late, and then they had to wait on the rain. So like this shot, even you look at the before, it was dark. So this was the before, and yet again, I'm at like ISO 1000 and the shutter's at 60. So I literally, it was like the end of the day. There was no light at this point. I tried to take a couple drone shots. It was way too dark at that point. So this is just to give you all an idea of kind of like, look at the grain at 1000 ISO. Like, it's not bad. It actually looks kind of nice. So yeah, it's impressive. If I could have one for weddings, I would definitely use it. But I would have to have backup cameras for the reception. Also too, at the reception, I'm usually hand holding my camera a lot. Like, I'm just shooting off the hip, and this would break my hand. This thing is too heavy for that. So yeah, if I had like an assistant who could take my cameras back to the car or something, so I would GFX all day, and then we get to reception, and like right before intros and stuff, swap out. Maybe if they do a sparkler exit, bring the GFX back in for that or something, but okay, let's jump into photo mechanic. Let's go ahead and call this thing real quick. But is it worth 10K for the body? It depends on what you're trying to do. I would say overall, if you're not like, we're talking just wedding photographers. if you're a wedding photographer and you're not booking weddings that are between like 7 and 10K, then no, it's not worth it. You know, like, and it's not saying that the body's not worth 10K. I think the camera itself and what it does and just overall, it is worth 10K. It's definitely worth 10K. But as a wedding photographer yourself, if you're not booking like $7,000 to $10,000 weddings, then you're just blowing your money. You should be like, look at me shooting medium format. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me to, let's say, match what I normally take to a wedding day, right? I'd have to get 2 of these, so that's $20,000 right there, just the body. I would need the 63, which I think is around 3, because that would be my 50. They have a 20-something f4, or no, I would grab that new 30. What is it? It's a 30. I don't even know what it is. GF30. What's in an F? Yeah, f3.5. So that would be like my wide lens. Cause yeah, that would be like 20 something. How much does this thing cost? Oh, does this have the old photo? It does. That thing's gonna be slow too. It's gonna be good, but slow. Where's the price? Give me the price. There it goes. So that's like 1,700 right there. So I'd get the 30. Also, the lenses are so big. I can't like switch as fast as I usually do. What lenses do they even have? GF lenses? A 50 is like a, that's like a 45. That's only $1,000. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, the 110 is like 2,800. That'd be like your 85. Wow, the 23 is like 20. So I mean, yeah, unless you're booking weddings that are like $10,000 on the norm, then no, it's not gonna be worth it. But the picture quality is amazing, you know? And that's what I'm saying. If you have a couple who's booking at $10,000, they want amazing. So, this needs to be capture time. I didn't even check if my cameras were synced. Oh yeah, they look like they are. Okay, I would have been mad. I only started getting into wedding photography and I'm inspired by your work. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. My shutter was too slow. What was my shutter at? 1/125th. Yep, I done messed up. Rookie move. I still see, that's the thing, like, never feel bad about feeling like maybe you're not like the best photographer or you like make mistakes. Everyone does it. Look at that difference. Here's XT3, here's GFX. It's just like, look at that dynamic range. It's ridiculous. But you know, like, everyone makes random stupid mistakes. Everybody does it. Look at that bokeh. Look at, and then that's XT3 again. And then back to GFX. It's just like, there's so much data. It's just like, yeah, look at my shadows. I think as with most cameras, the things that make it cool would be cool for a few months. They aren't suitable for the story of the shots is why. So yeah, exactly. That's the same difference between crop sensor versus full frame. It's like, we can sit here and nitpick all the good things you get from it. And yeah, you get a lot of stuff. So we're not, you know, we're not trying to say that full frame's not good. It's just like, do you need it? And do you understand what you're getting from it? Because I feel like there's a lot of people who just do things because they're like, well, that's what everyone else does. Full frame's the best. You have to shoot weddings with full frame. And it's like, that's not 100% the case. So this is all XT3 stuff. I'll probably crop in on this a little bit. Here's our groom. These are all GFX shots. And portraits, I would have shot this like this anyway, because remember, one camera is my wide and the other one is my my closer. So I would have shot these with my closer anyway. That's why there's all these GFX shots here. This is all GFX. The sun was the worst. Then the clouds came in. And then the sky opened up. And we had to adjust. What computer are you using? Seems to be handling those files very well. So I have a custom built PC. I'm running with the i9-9900K, overclocked just a bit. So that's I think a quad, no, 8-core processor. I can't remember. I paid a lot of money for it. I also have the Radeon 7 video card. So these are just previews though. Photo Mechanic is a program meant to make you fast with doing your culling. So if you don't have Photo Mechanic, you need to get it, because it's just looking at basically the JPEG previews that come along with your files and loading that only. But how do you think the couple will see a difference that you shot the wedding with the GFX? So it's actually, luckily, because the way I shoot, I don't think the difference is so like in your face, like, oh, these photos are so different and this other one isn't. Because if you take a look at let's do all shots. So this is XT3, this is XT3, and then you compare it to, like, let's say a GFX here, right? Let me, now the color matching is probably the hardest part, and yet again, it's like the end of the night, so it's a little bit hard overall. The coloring is just like all over the place. Now, let's take this shot out actually. Between these two, right? I keep changing. This shot is obviously like a closer shot, or yet again like this one here. Wait, what did I do? Like, it's like a tele shot, right? And this is a wide. And so because the APS-C is not going to give you as much background blur anyway, and it's wide, which most wide shots don't have as much background blur, I don't think the difference between these two photos is so drastic that it's like, oh my goodness, what happened? Like, they all feel like Fuji files. Like, when I bring a bunch of these together and throw some XT3 shots in there, to me personally, it doesn't feel like the other photos are so out of place. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you look at all these pictures right now, is there another? Oh, those are good. So there's only one XT3 shot in this, but because I'm editing it the same way with the same preset and stuff, it's actually, you know, it doesn't feel like, oh goodness, there's that one camera and then this other one's like so beastie. So it's the same difference. Like, if you had GFXs that you shot throughout the day and then put them away for reception, the way, at least the way I shoot receptions, because I'm shooting mainly wide, it would not be such a dramatic change between the cameras. How about battery life? It was surprisingly good. So I was all like, all day I was like, okay, let me not shoot too much with this because I don't have any additional batteries. First off, this thing is built like a camera with a grip on it. So it looks like the XT3 with a grip because it's built like that. So it has 2 batteries in it at all times anyway. So there's always 2 batteries. And yeah, I was surprised. I didn't even touch the second battery. I was barely halfway through the battery and I shot with this mainly. It's surprising. Like I said, you could do weddings with the GFX 100. You could do it. Reception is a little skeptical in my opinion, but everything else, when you have light, this thing can do it. And you may have to change your batteries once. Yet again, I would love to, I don't know if I could, I would love to have a 2 GFX system set up and shoot a whole wedding day with it, just to prove to people that, like, you could do it. How many pixels is the Brenizer shot? I don't know if it tells me the pixels per se, but let's see the dimensions. There they go right there. It's like 20,000 by 18,000, 27,000. Oh no, when it's cropped, yeah, it's like 20,000 by 11,000. That's a big photo. That is a big photo. Hey Luca, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out. To be honest, you could probably put some iPhone shots in there as long as you edited them well and were smart. People wouldn't notice. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, and that's yet again why I use Fujifilm and I'm not over here harping about full frame, because your clients barely know. You know, like they really don't. All they know is that they want the photos to be good and they also want the moments, you know what I'm saying? So if you're able to edit your photos to look very, you know, similar. I'm so sad that they put this microphone right here. I'm so sad about that. Why reception skeptical? Because it doesn't focus too well in low light. That and the fact that just at least the way I shoot receptions, I'm taking my camera off a lot and hand holding it, and this thing is too big. So that's one thing for me personally. This thing is just too big for receptions and the way that I shoot receptions. And then second off, it just can't really focus in low light that well. And so you take not only the focusing not be able to handle low light, but then also at receptions, people are moving a lot. So then it just is too much. If anything, you could do speeches with it. You could do first dances. Maybe that's up in the air. But yeah, I would rather just go back to my X-T3s. Also, the buffer range on this is not too large, and I tend to like shoot a lot, especially at the reception. So I would run out of buffer room real quick. But I mean, yeah, the amount of quality in the photo is very obvious. That it's a medium format, you know, it's just letting in so much more. But after I edit it and, you know, JPEG it and export it, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know, it's not that big of a difference. I'm so sad about that microphone. So this was their first kiss for real. And the mic is there and they're not centered. And I was like, guys, no. I was like, I am not accepting that. So they gave a little speech real quick. And then I was like, y'all gotta redo that. Cause I'm sorry, I'm not allowing your first kiss to be like, I'm just not. If I start a career as a professional photographer, how much important is it to buy Photoshop? Not so much Photoshop, but Lightroom. I think as a photographer, well, it depends on what type of photography you're doing. If you're going into like magazine portrait style stuff, you need Photoshop. If you're doing stuff like me, that's more session based, so like weddings, portrait shoots, lifestyle shoots, family stuff, you'll want Lightroom. Lightroom is just a better program for taking a bunch of photos together and then editing through all those photos and stuff like that. Whereas Photoshop is mainly for like getting into things and really like changing stuff and nitpicking stuff. I barely ever use Photoshop. I have both, but I'm using Photoshop if I need to remove something from the background and Lightroom can't do it, which Lightroom can, but sometimes it's just not as good. And then they did a little dance. These are obviously X-T3. These are back to the GFX. I don't know why that changed. Maybe that's the auto dynamic range. Maybe I should turn that off. This is more GFX. tilt screen. So the GFX has the same tilt screen that the XT series has, the 3, the 2. So it has the tilt down and out, and this is the type of screen I like better anyway. So the tilt down and out, the tilt up, and the tilt side. And I prefer this. I don't like the flippy screen. The flippy screen has its like pros, so I'm not totally bashing it. It's just for photos, being able to flip down like this real quick and then look down at it is much easier than having to take the flip screen out and then turn it. And is the GFX any good for videos? I have not tried it for video yet, but from what I've seen and heard from people, supposedly it's like beastie. Because not only does it have IBIS, but it's like a medium format sensor, and it can do 4K 60. So like, yeah, look at this, y'all. This is burst GFX. Don't tell me it's slow. Don't tell me it's slow. This thing could keep, it was rocking. I was like, yo, this thing is in there for real. Should you consider it? Probably not. I mean, yeah, unless you're making bank money, like the camera's $10,000, the body is $10,000. So this is not for most. This is like, if you're making that kind of money, you know what I mean? Or you're doing like corporate, professional, commercial work. If you're doing commercial work and you're getting paid like big money and they need huge prints, then you need this. This is overkill for most people. Like, it's overkill for me. I don't need this. Would it be nice? Yeah. If someone were to give me one to keep, you know, I'd be in there. But yeah, it's too much. 4K 60, 8-bit or 10-bit. Here, let's see. Let's look in here. Let's see what we got. So I'm gonna switch it to movie mode. Oops. And then I can change, so 4K, 16:9. It won't let me do 60 for some reason. I thought I could do 4K 60. I can go up to 400 megabits. Dynamic range. Oh, you know what? I think the 10-bit is external recording. It's not internal. Yo, you can take photos in 16-bit color on this thing. So imagine uncompressed, like a full raw 16-bit. Them files are probably huge. Time code settings. Wait, what's happening here? My shutter is like on auto. And I don't know how to change it. There we go. So there's manual. Can I do 4K? 4K 60? I thought it could. Go back in a drive. Oh, maybe it can't do 4K 60. I could have swore it could do 4K 60. I have to look back into that. Is there a way to cull images with Mechanic without importing them first? Yeah, you can. I like to import first just to have it and go from there. But yeah, the way Photo Mechanic works is you can cull right off the SD card and then only import what you culled. So they did 2 dances. This is all GFX stuff, so I can crop this down if I need to. And we compose. Because I want to become a professional photographer and videographer for nature and studio, so I'm trying to understand if it's better to XT4. I have an XT100 for nature stuff and studio. I feel like for nature, the XT4 will probably be pretty good. The biggest thing for nature is the lenses you use. Yeah, it seems like, this is another thing with the GFX I noticed. It seemed like, oh no, it didn't miss it. It's, okay, the timing's off, there it goes. Yeah, I was very impressed with the GFX. Okay, I was about to be mad. I didn't really get the focus. I should have stopped down. I'm not used to so much. I could combine those photos probably. That's what I ended up doing here. I'm pretty sure I stopped down a little bit because I was, yeah, that was it when I was like, let me stop down and get them in focus together. Get that cake. Then we did some family portraits real quick, which these were with the XT3 because that was my wide lens. This was all GFX stuff. My shutter was too low. And then this is me working with like the end of the light. Yeah, why was it doing that? See how the shadows changed? I wonder if that's, what did I have it set to? Oh. Let's see what my dynamic range was set to. It probably was set to auto. Yeah. Dynamic range priority. I wonder if I should have kept that to off. Yeah. Yeah, it kept switching. That's weird. This is the most in-depth, real-world review of GFX I've seen. Feels like being a dream. Yeah, I noticed that too. There's a lot of videos on it, but it's just like, wow, it's medium format. It's great. Like, I want y'all to see me use it for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get a lot of footage from this wedding, unfortunately, but I'm gonna be shooting with it the next couple of weeks, and I want y'all to, you know what I mean? I want you to see it for real. This is XT3 stuff. Took some bracketed shots just so I had different exposures. This is GFX now. Look at that bokeh. It's XT3 again, and then back to GFX. And you see, like, they're not that different. There's just much more information. And so because of that, the dynamic range is like, is crazy on the GFX. Oh my god, it was so dark. Oh, this stuff is all, it was so dark. Oh no. Okay, y'all, here's my Brenizer. I'm gonna talk through it. I still need to make the video, I just haven't had a chance. Do you eat at the wedding? Yes, it depends, but most of the time my couples get me food. So whenever they eat, I eat as well. And they don't give me like a sandwich. I've been shooting weddings for 6 years and only once have I gotten a cold salad, or a cold sandwich. That's not a norm. Usually I'm eating what everyone else is eating, or maybe like a modified version. I mean, I've had couples let me go through the buffet before they even went. So I was literally the first person to get food. So my couples are usually really good to me, and I absolutely appreciate it. Let me see if my phone is finally charged. It's not. Why is this thing taking so long? Let's see. Have you ever tried Capture One for editing Fuji files? I have. And yes, it's better. But I feel like the program is not as fast. Not the program, but like how you have everything sorted in Lightroom. You can just go through and edit like groups of photos. Unless I just don't know Capture One, which is probably the case. It seems like that you can't bulk edit as heavy as you can in Lightroom. Okay, so this is how I do Brightizers, and I'm gonna make an actual video about it, but I want to just talk through it for you all. So you take a long lens, so I'm using the 110, I believe. Yep. And you shoot your first shot. Your first shot is safety. You want to be using your back button focus, and you use that to focus, and you hold it the whole time because you don't want your focus to change. It needs to be where you originally focused on. So I take my first shot. Now there's two different ways you can do your Brightnizer. You can do them horizontal or vertical. Vertical tends to get you a better overall result, and it's a little bit easier to merge. Horizontal is risky, and I do it all the time. It's like the only way I do it, but I take my first shot and then I start counting. So you move up in small increments to the edge of the last frame, and then you take a photo. So here's safety shot, and then 1, I went up some, 2, I went up some more, 3, and then I go over. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what counting it out lets me know how far up and down I went, so I can at least hopefully get like an actual space in there. What should a beginner photographer charge for basic photo shoot? Thank you, Marcus, for that super chat. What should a photographer charge for basic photo shoot? So with a beginner photographer, first off, I think it's going to really depend on how much experience you have and how comfortable you feel within that experience. But I would definitely say start on the cheaper side, but don't be so cheap that you're like going in on yourself, you know what I'm saying? So models, family shoots. With models, it depends on what's happening and what you're doing. Half the time with models, I pay them. It's rare that I'm ever asking models to pay me unless they're coming to me for photos. But you're talking around $50 to $100 based on the hour. So take your shoot, right? How long you want to have it. So let's say an hour. Pick an hourly rate. So like how much you would want to get paid at a job or something. You know, like, oh, I want to get paid $20 an hour. Think of that and think of an hourly rate for your photos, which with the photo hourly rate, and we're talking about editing, I like to keep it on par with a lot of the editing services you can go to. So like a lot of them will charge 50 cents, 65 cents a photo. So take that, think about how many photos you're probably gonna edit or would like to edit and deliver, and then use that for your photo rate, and then add that to your hourly rate and your photo rate and see about round how much money you get. And then also do the same thing for mileage if you have to drive very far. Get that together and see what it is, and then mark the price up just a little bit. Now, if you're starting, don't mark the price up very high. Mark it up just a little bit. So we're talking like, let's say you want to get paid $15 an hour. You sorted out 60 photos and it came out to like $15 for an hour of editing, or for 50 photos or something. So now we're up to like $30. And then you mark it up maybe. So now you're at like $75 for a photo session. Cool. So 1 hour family photo session, $75. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the best way to figure it out. But don't just be up in here like, I'm trying to get that money. Like, don't do that. You know, once you have the clout, once you have the portfolio, once you have all that stuff to back it up, then you can be like, okay, my hourly rate goes up now because I'm in demand, my work is good, I have portfolio to show it, and I have the customer service. Don't forget that, the customer service to like back up all this stuff. Customer service is the main thing in this type of photography. If you're doing like fashion and all that stuff, customer service is not as big. But if you're doing sessions with models, sessions with families, wedding photography, customer service comes first. So if you're not good at that, that also goes into your overall experience. It's something that you get better with over time, knowing how to tell your couples or your session, your family, what to do and where to do and all that kind of stuff. All the stuff you're gonna tell them up front that they're gonna go, oh wow, I didn't think of that, so great. That stuff is what they're paying for. So I hope that helped a little bit. Don't charge too much if you're starting out, keep it low. And that's a great way to build your portfolio too. So don't think, oh, I'm only getting paid $50 for a family session. Well, yeah, one off, you're blessing the family because they're getting family photos for cheap. You're getting experience, you're getting portfolio, and you're still getting 50 bucks. So think of it like that too. I hope that helped though. Thank you for that super chat. It means a lot. And that's the thing too, y'all. If y'all throw super chats in there, I'll go a little bit more in depth in your question, because I can't look at y'all giving me money and just be like, whoa, great. But thank you, I appreciate that. Have you ever tried the Viltrox 85? No, I have not used any Viltrox lenses at all. I was in the same boat with Lightroom and Capture One. At the end of the day, I lean towards Capture One and Photoshop for weddings and portraits. For real estate, I still use Lightroom because better HDR and straightening. Yeah, and see, that's the kind of stuff with Capture One. I feel like it's just slower because of little things like that. Let's real quick go back to this Brennheiser. So yet again, I count out everything. This is what I came up with after counting it out. This is when I merged everything. I could have like shot it wider and stuff too, but I mean, this is the GFX 100. It didn't need to be that big, so. What should my first prime lens be? I think a safe choice is like a 50. So if you're on Fuji, that would be the 35 f2. 50 is such a good focal length. I think it's a really good focal length to get used to shooting prime lenses. This is the XT3. You see what I'm saying? It's not that different. After it's edited, like, you're not gonna be like, oh goodness. It's just the GFX has way more dynamic range. This is GFX versus, you see, like, the Fuji cameras have like the same kind of coloring to them. The color science is the same. So like, it doesn't feel different. I have them set the same. They're using classic chrome. I have the settings all the same. So a couple more portraits. We ended off the night. And I think this was the end here. And here go my sad drone shots because it was too dark. And I was trying to slow shutter, but it was also a drone, so you know, it's kind of like moving enough to... This might be salvageable as a black and white, but I'm probably not even gonna... Cool, so I culled that whole thing. Let's go back to Lightroom. Let's jump in here. We're gonna look at everything. Let's just go to attributes. No metadata. We want 4-star and less than equal to, no edits at all. Selected all metadata, read metadata from file. And here we go. So now it's reading the metadata from the files. It's gonna find all the ones that I 5-starred. And then I'll be nice and cold and I can go in and edit real quick. So that's my process yet again for culling. You know, like someone else was saying, can you cull off the card? You can. I just like to import it all and back it up and then cull it from there. You shot those in RAW only? Or RAW and JPEG? Yeah, just RAW. The previews of your RAW files are always gonna be JPEGs. So when you shoot a photo, it takes a JPEG along with it. But yeah, I didn't shoot any JPEG. But I mean, yeah, like even this, I don't feel like my computer's any slower than it is. My processor's not over here overheated freaking out, so. Oh yeah, someone asked more about what computer I'm using. I also have 64 gigs of RAM too, so like I have a pretty beastie computer. So the GFX files are actually okay for me. They're not like freaking out my whole computer, which is nice. So once we get this metadata read and in there, go ahead and start editing some more of these photos. I'll probably get some of those X-T3 photos in there as well. I always hate this waiting process. You're just like, come on, I'm trying to edit. What? I missed this earlier. I pray Fuji hits you up with a freebie. If they do, you can. there's no way. I feel like even anyone who's like an ex-photographer or anything, they wouldn't even, at most, they might give you a discount. This thing is 10,000. There's no way they're gonna give one away from free. Last question, how do you deliver your photos once you're done? I use PicTime. PicTime is my choice as far as delivering. So basically, oh, they updated the main page. That looks nice. Look at that. Elevate your photos to a successful business. I feel like this right here, they kind of copied Squarespace. So PicTime is a way for you to deliver your photos. You got this nice little drop here. And you can upload all your photos on here as well. So you see I have all my client galleries and stuff in here, and that's how I deliver my photos. And here's a preview. This is what the couple gets, and they're able to come in here and download the photos. I have it set so that they don't see the watermark, but if I want to invite someone else, they'll see the watermark, but they can download it without the watermark. You can sell the prints, you can sell the digital files. There's a lot of things you can do, and it's nice and set up. You can upload GIFs. So you see you have a GIF in here. You can upload videos. You have to upload it somewhere else like Vimeo first, but you can include it as a part of your gallery. I think I have an example of that somewhere. Yeah, this engagement session. I made a little short video, which I'm still practicing. I don't really do video too much. I don't consider myself a filmmaker or anything. But you know, I made a little short diddly for them. And you know, for the couple, they're like, this is awesome. I suck at video, honestly. It was just like my first time using a gimbal. I had no idea what I was doing, but you know, it was a cute little video. They liked it. So when I deliver it, they get this, you know. This is something that they get to use. This was the X-T3. I want to take the X-T4 out, do some little video stuff, trying some things. You know, and then here's their gallery. They can come in, they can order prints. It's good stuff. So I love PicTime. I have a code for it if you want to try it out. I think you get a free month or something. So if anyone's interested, let me know. I'll pass that your way. Gimbals can be tricky. Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. Cool. This is done. Let's go look at everything we 5-starred. So here are all of our actual finished photos. We came out with about 200 photos. So that's pretty good for a short little ceremony. 200 is not a lot. I could finish this right now if I really like, you know, put some time into it. I've only been streaming for an hour. If y'all hang out with me for like 2 more hours, I could totally finish this right now. Now the biggest thing here is I might want to edit by camera instead of taking the settings from one and then copying, especially because it's the X-T3, which color-wise kind of edits a little different. I can always too, if you do this RA, you can have a comparison shot like this. Yeah, the color depth and everything and the dynamic range is so different. So it's gonna be hard getting them totally matched, but Do 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 do. Truly appreciate the help. No problem. I'm always down to help out. That's what this is all about. So I mean, yeah, if you're like, you know, if you're a photographer, if you're someone who like can really see a photo, you can tell the difference. There is an obvious difference. And I need to, you know what I need in this? Let's see if we can paint and tint on this dress. It's like too green for my taste. But yeah, you can clearly see the difference, but on the same end, they both feel like Fuji files. Like, I'm not looking at this and being like, oh my goodness. Have you shot any X-T4 TIFF files? Thoughts? I have not. Does it shoot in TIFF? Where's my X-T4 at? Oh. Well, look at there. Let's see, stills. We have raw, normal, fine, normal. What's under fine? Recording, lossless, uncompressed, compressed. Oh, I'm guessing the compressed and stuff is TIFF. Yeah, I don't know. I shoot in RAW all the time, so I haven't had a chance to check it out. And since I haven't been shooting as much as usual, I'm just kind of like, you know, here it is. I'm shooting the thing. These two side by side definitely see the difference. Yeah, they're very different. Also, well, if I could talk, welcome Claire to the stream. But yeah, it's pretty drastic, the difference. But on the same end, they both feel like Fuji files to me, so I'm not too hurt at how different they look. The tint is like, there's just so much, there's so much more in the X or the GFX photos. So it's hard to match the colors because I feel like the GFX is seeing more. So it's just kind of like, yeah, this is how it actually looked. But yeah, the bokeh is the real big giveaway. Also, what lens differences is this? Because I didn't shoot with the 35, so that's another. Yeah, that's the first thing. I'm gonna do a session that's gonna be the 63 and the 35 versus each other. Because they're technically about the same focal length. So I'm curious to see how they end up looking side by side. Thank you for all the kind words about my work. I'm trying to be good. So even like these are almost the same shot since I backed up a little bit more. But yeah, look at the compression and I mean technically I could crop this to match. First I need to make it 2x3 anyway. And I mean, yeah, it's just clearly different. It's the background. It's always the bokeh. That's if you're ever comparing cameras that's crop versus non-crop, the bokeh is the first thing that will immediately just change the whole thing. Look at the compression. Look at where the trash can is here and where it is on this one. It's just so different. So I'm not gonna front. Someone said it in the comments, you know, all these Fuji people always run around like, oh, you don't need full frame. But then we get medium format and we're like, oh yes. And I mean, it's true, I'm not gonna front. That bokeh is looking quite nice. Let's get this exposure. I used On One photo for the first time this week and love it for Fuji. It's great. Subscription needed. Yeah, no subscription, and it works for all the Fujis. 'Tis true. I just can't. I feel like I'm not as fast. And it's not just because I know Lightroom. It just seems like you can't bulk edit like I would like. Okay, so these are X-T3s. We need to make sure we're syncing between the same camera. This is just a whole different perspective here. Did I miss the focus? I wonder what the 50 f1 want. The bokeh gap between full frame and crop. True. Because at that point, f1, you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna use this photo. And I have enough of the dress, so I'm gonna take that out. Yeah, let's go by camera, because this is gonna start getting wonky if I keep trying to edit. So I'm gonna keep this one. We're gonna black and white it. And then this one, I'm gonna actually try and do in color. This was X-T3 stuff. I'm inspired by your work, shoot with the X-H1. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and hit it off with some auto white balance. Pull these oranges back a bit. Yeah. Yeah, how cute. Can't really see anything. I tried my best to get this shot. She wanted like a mirror shot of her and her friends kind of primping her up, so I think it turned out pretty good. Here is a quick robe shot. These are pretty straightforward. Yet again, I know my X-T3, so I know the colors. I'm pretty quick on editing those files. Take that, sync all these pictures real quick. The hair is growing nicely. Yeah, man. It's getting long. Getting locks again? I don't know. So the funny thing, the locks last time were accidental. Like my hair started getting long. I wonder, I have it on IGTV. You can kind of see when it happened. So if you look at my IGTV, I was doing these videos for my couples. Actually, is it up here? Yeah. Are these in order? But I mean, yeah, my hair got like, it just got so long, it started locking by itself. Like I didn't twist it at all. No one twisted it ever. It just literally just started, and you can see it's kind of doing it now already. It just like locks itself. So by the way, pics look great, thank you. But yeah, it just kind of locked up, and so I was like, okay, well, I guess I have locks now, and that's how it went. We'll black and white this one too. So these are all non-GFX. I know y'all probably came here looking for GFX, so I'm gonna start editing those in a second, so everyone's not like, why are you editing X-T3 photos? But yeah, I have really thick hair. It just locks by itself. But on the same end, I'm not picking it regularly and stuff. If I was actually like doing that stuff, then it wouldn't lock up. So this is all GFX stuff. I'm going into my normal editing mode, which is pretty fast. So if y'all have any questions about anything, just let me know. Also, for the GFX photos, because it's medium format, I'm gonna be switching all the crops to 2:3 so that they at least fit with the X-T3 photos, which I messed up here because that's too close of a framing. I don't like that framing. I like how it was, but I didn't even think the fact that it's like a different crop. Like, I don't know why that didn't cross my mind. I was like, oh. Yeah, so all these need to be 2:3. This is 16:9, so that's fine. It's 2:3, and I wanted it off to the corner like that. Yeah, I should have shot a lot of things wider than I thought I actually needed. I like totally forgot it's a different aspect ratio. Okay, well, remember the name. Create moments, you get that freebie. That would be so, y'all, I would scream if I got a free GFX. Fuji's like, you know what? We like you so much. We're just gonna give you a GFX. Bruh. Oh, I love being able to just be like, oh yeah, just crop it. Crop it all the way, who cares? Okay, so here's the groom photos. We have this one edited, so let's pull it through. These two are already edited. Let's sync those settings. I'm at the end of this here coffee. But yeah, see the pasting settings, it is taking a little bit longer. So like things are a tiny bit slower, but it's not so much that I'm like, oh goodness. The lighting is all over the place. Yeah, I'm kind of sad that I forgot. That the framing is not the same, because some of these I can't even do a 2:3 crop. Like it messes up how I tried to initially frame it. End of coffee and get a monster. I don't mess with that stuff no more. I used to be on that Red Bull hard, but I don't know, it messed me up. It messed me up. So yeah, this is something I technically don't have to do, but I just want the photos to at least match aspect ratios. And then if for some reason they order prints that are in like an 8:5 or something, I can always just like readjust the photo to make it fit for them better. So they're the groomsmen shot, or the groom shots. These are the same photo, so I'm actually just gonna black and white this one. Okay, I got a call from two of my last clients, and they both booked on the same time next year. I was going to do an event next month for both. Who should I snub one for paying a bit more? Oh, that's always so. I really like to take a client first human approach, as I like to call it. So whoever ended up switching the date first is the one I would give it to, even if they were the ones who paid less, because I like to have everything as fair as possible. And then from there, I'll just kind of, you know, work with the couple to see what we can do. But usually I'll refer them out to another photographer. I don't really use too many associates right now because it just feels like you're trying to pawn them off but still get the money. So yeah, that's what I would do in that situation. Is just let them know like you don't have the date, rather than trying to like pick and choose. I'm not a huge fan. Okay, so I'm gonna take the ones here that are, yeah, first come, first serve. And you know, no hard feelings against anyone. I just don't want it to become like, I don't know, it's just shady to me to be like, whoa, you weren't paying me as much for your wedding, so I'm gonna go with this other people because they got that money. Like, I don't know, it's just, it's so sad. I don't like that. I don't like that approach. I think I'm only gonna keep the close-up shots here. So here we go again. The crop is obviously different. It's so much more square. But yeah, these GFX files are ridiculous. This camera is crazy. That's why you're a great photographer. You care about the people. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I did this year that was probably not business savvy is that every single one of my couples who ended up having to postpone because of COVID, I let them reschedule even to next year with no additional charges. So that means that next year, I have like so many dates that are already just gone. Like they're gone. Like most of my year next year is full based on how many weddings I want to have, because they already ate up all those dates, and I'm fine with that. You know, like no one could have predicted this was going to happen. And it's unfortunate from the couple side. And I mean, I know we all run businesses and we have to make our money, but I don't know. I think in the long run, it's just gonna be a better overall. And it's gonna shine a better light onto who you are as a photographer, and people will remember that. So I remember someone earlier was asking me about Photoshop. These are the times when I use Photoshop because this microphone here. But first, let's see if I can crop it out since I wanna go 2x3. But yeah, the way I framed it, I need to come down here anyway. Y'all wanna see my sad Photoshop skills? Let's go edit in Adobe Photoshop. We did the same thing, no extra charge, and even floated their remaining balances to help them take. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, that's exactly what I did. So the way my payments go to, and see, Mark's up in here. I can't wait to work with you at some point. In all seriousness, but so Photoshop. Let me close it. What are you doing? So yeah, typically I have my couples pay 4 payments. There's a booking fee and 3 payments up until about the date of the wedding, which is typically like a year out. And so most of these weddings that postponed it, they had paid all their payments and they had the one last payment right before the wedding. But because they rescheduled, I also had their payment go with them. So I have all this payment, all this money that I was supposed to get that is now moved with their date. So if they get rescheduled to next year, their final payment doesn't happen until like 2 weeks before the wedding next year. So yet again, business-wise, that makes no sense because now I'm out of like a lot of money that I should have been getting. But at the end of the day, you know, they're gonna appreciate it. And if you want word-of-mouth business, that's the type of stuff you have to do. You can't just think about it from a business sense only. You know, this is like an unprecedented thing to ever happen. So if this was just someone trying to reschedule just because, that's a different story. But, you know, this is like the whole world. Here, content aware fill. Do it, Photoshop. Do it. Do it. Bloop. Pretty good. Not too bad, Photoshop. And then we'll go in and clean it up. If you're cloning something like this, don't forget that your bokeh, the focus range, it changes. It gets more blurry as it goes away from where the focus point was. So you need to make sure that you're starting on the same plane of field and then coming down into the same plane of field as well. so that the bokeh is not just like totally off. Ta-da! I did it! I'm good at Photoshop! And I'd argue that it makes perfect sense because that's extremely customer centric and definitely keeps the yeah, the quality of the service. And like I said again, wedding photography is mainly customer service first and foremost. Like, you're gonna get good word of mouth. There's no question about it, because they were like, the world came to an end and John was in there with me and he helped me and it was good, you know? Like, you're gonna get word of mouth. Whereas if you were just out there like, sorry guys, like a lot of these venues, and it's a hard middle ground because I understand where they're coming from. It's not easy. They're running a business, they gotta pay rent. And then all of a sudden, all the money they were supposed to have is gone. And they have to have rules and they have to book for next year, because technically pushing out to next year means there's a whole bunch of money I'm just not getting. I just won't get it. But yeah, I mean, I'm surviving right now, so I can deal with it. It's a little bit harder for venues, but yeah, a lot of venues have been out here doing their couples wrong. I feel so bad. It's always the worst because they come to me and they're like, John, you're so helpful, it's so great. And then they're like, but our venue. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's just hope it all works out for everybody. Give me that 2x3, 4x6. Gonna crop it. Gonna crop it. I live in Texas, and I find I mostly go into Photoshop to look for bugs. I mean, I do that stuff in Lightroom. Cause it's, you know, the little, you know, the healing tool, you can just bloop, bloop, you know, get rid of that stuff pretty easily. But see, natural fills on that GFX, and there it is. Looks good. Let's 2x3 that sucker. Boom. We'll black and white this one. Yeah, there's just so much more data. So now, because this is the GFX, I have so much range to play with these photos. So even though they were far away, I can crop in on it as much as I want to, which is so nice. Just look how much detail it is. So good. Views have been kind of shady too. It's really frustrating. It's the worst. We have a couple now booked in December. They had to move to a new venue twice. Wow. Oh yeah, I hate when I see those stories about venues that just shut down. And they just like, they're like, well, too bad, we're out of business. But they were like booking people right up until they shut down. And like, you know, they had to know. There's no way they didn't know they were about to shut down. Like, they just out of the blue, sorry guys, your wedding's done. And it's like, what? Why? How? It's so bad. Like, y'all could have at least been like, you know what, we're sorry, we're losing money, we understand, we're doing our best, and then work from there. Just look at these files. Like, really, like, oh, the fence is here, no problem. I'm just gonna boom. Totally new photo. No problem. Let's see how many pixels, how big is this photo still? Let's see. It's like 6,000 by 3,000. And we're talking like 599. I don't know if y'all can see, it's kind of small. But like, it's as big as a Fuji file. You just crop it all the way into an XD3 file and be like, cool. Like, it's fine. Felt awful when you heard about it. Yeah, it's so bad. These venues are out there. And then that just makes you think, like, do most venues, are they just shady in general? And that's how they run things? And they're like always in the negative, just hoping for things to like work out at some point. And then when stuff hits the fan, then it's kind of just like, oh. All right, so we have all these photos in the same scene, so we're gonna select everything. Yep, and just crop those settings, or sync the settings. So it's a 6.5K file still. Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Cause I mean, we're talking 100 megapixels versus 20 something. I can't remember what the XD3 is. Let's pull up the XD3 specs. Yeah, maximum resolution on the XD3 is 6240 by 4160. So yeah, 26 megapixels versus 100. You know, like you can literally crop it. That's when I used to joke about the GFX. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a GFX and get like one wide lens and just shoot everything wide and then just crop it in. You know, like. And they would still look better than because they have more information in them too, so they're still just gonna look better than the XT3 files. So you lost 8% height, yeah. It's looking weird to me. So I'm gonna black and white it. Photographer's safety rule. If the white balance is too wonk city, just go ahead and black and white. And then we're gonna 2x3 again, just so everything matches. No, you're not gonna do that for me, okay. Straighten that up. We need to 2x3 anyway, and I want to crop in a bit. Did you import with some preset? You're using Adobe Standard? No, I did not import with a preset. So my preset comes with Adobe Standard. That's just always how I do it. I could like, you know, adjust it to go along with the normal Fuji. So I could put in, you know, classic Chrome or whatever and go from there. But my preset just uses Adobe Standard, so I keep it like that. And then let's 2x3. Hi, I'm shooting with the XT30 and my pictures are often grainy. Any recommendations? So what I've found usually is you'll want to make sure that first off, you know, you're getting enough light. So in camera, you're getting what you want to get. It's light enough. Don't shoot the ISO too high. I don't like going up around 1600 ISO. So if you're shooting high ISO, you might want to watch out for that. And then last but not least, when it comes to editing in Lightroom, you'll want to watch out for the worms. The worms. Yeah, see here, I'm having a problem centering this. I don't want to cut off her hand, but it's a kind of close crop. So when you're sharpening your photos in Lightroom, what you'll want to do is make sure your detail is down, like all the way down, because that's what creates the worms. And that may be part of the grain you're seeing. If you're using my preset, I actually add grain to it. So you may want to turn that off because that might be what you're seeing as well. Do you see the worms in that sensor? You know, I haven't tried it. Let's try it in a moment. So the way I edit my photos in Lightroom, I don't sharpen them inside of Lightroom. And so because of that, I just never deal with worms. I do my sharpening at the JPEG stage in exposure. If y'all don't know that program, formerly known as Alien Skin Exposure. Now they're just exposure, but yeah, this GFX looks good. If that thing wasn't 10K, this thing looks good. Let me rotate this a little bit. So I'm just gonna finish this section and we'll test out some worming real quick. And we'll go to some of my later in the night shots too, when like we started running out of light. We'll check that out and see what it looks like. 2x3. But yeah, just the range of what you can get out of these is just, it's just so crazy to me. You know, like if I wanted to make a close version of this, I could just crop in on it. Like, how crazy is that? And let's see how big it is. It's still like 11,000 by 8,000. Like, it's still huge. Thanks for the live stream. Thank you for watching. No. What's this? Beginner photographer wanted to know if you have a couple of beginner lessons on how to edit photos. I don't yet, but I'm thinking about making some soon. This is, I hate the lighting in here, so it's the... Also, hopefully my camera doesn't overheat. You holding in there, XT3? You doing it? You okay? Not about the GFX 100 and editing, but I would be very happy if you could make a video about how you do close-ups, especially macro with the, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Last week I had my first post-pandemic wedding. Yeah, they're doing pandemic weddings are like, they're very much bittersweet. Very bittersweet, because I don't know, they feel kind of like a wedding, but they don't at all. Okay, let's see if we can get some worming. If I can even see the photo. I'm so underexposed. I had like no light. Looks like I kind of missed the focus on her face a little bit too. I don't know what I'm focused on. So I mean, right now it's looking pretty clean. This was at 1000 ISO too. The way the grain looks is kind of nice. It almost looks like film, which is so cool. That's another Fuji for the win. Yeah, the focus is like in here somewhere. So usually what generally happens is when you have your sharpening up, you get the worms. Let's get in there. Yeah, y'all see it? That's the worming. Like, it shouldn't look like this. I have to zoom in so hard. Like, it shouldn't look like that. But if you turn down your detail, see how it kind of gets rid of the worming? And then you could also noise reduce. And then, you know, you can... I like to turn my masking pretty high up with my sharpening, so that it's not sharpening the skin too much. Yeah, smaller radius helps. I like my radius to be kind of high, but y'all can see, you see when I turn it up, it's getting in there. So like if we zoom out, let's go to fill so we can still get kind of close. And we work on our radius. one. So see, I have my sharpening turned all the way up now, and I'm not getting worming. So that details the bit, because see, the moment I start turning detail up, oh, the masking helps too. Unless it's taking forever to update. But yeah, the masking and the noise reduction helps. But yet again, I do all of my stuff outside of it anyway. Edit on iPad. I haven't synced it, but see, the thing is, if I sync these files over to the iPad, it's gonna work on the smart previews. I could load some of them into the iPad and just see how it handles it. Let me, let's hit this off real quick. So I think y'all are gonna notice what I was dealing with at first. So with these photos, and I think it was because it was dark and or the sensor was dirty, I was getting all this weird artifacting. This one turned out okay though. Y'all, look at that dynamic range. Ridiculous. Camera is crazy. Let's pull our oranges back up. And then cool it down some. The oranges are too much. Yeah, I think that auto dynamic range thing I had turned on had stuff kind of messed up. Did you adjust prices? I'm used to booking weddings, 100, 200 guests. So I didn't adjust prices as much as I'm booking. I generally book more towards the hours. The hours make the difference for me. So I don't have a set elopement price. So what I'm using is my general engagement pricing. So my engagements are actually priced fairly high. And my couples get a discount on the engagement if it's bundled in with the rest of the things. So if they do like a wedding and engagement, the engagement is cheaper. So my engagements are like $650 for 3 to 3.5 hours. So a small wedding like this that also fits within that 3 to maybe 4 hours, I just charge them the engagement rate. Yeah, that turned out really good. Yeah, I don't know what that artifacting I was getting. Did my sharpening go back? Yeah. Turn down the noise reduction some. What do you think about the EOS R5? It looks pretty beastie. I'm not team Canon anymore, so I don't really keep up with it. But I know if I was still shooting Canon now, I would be switching to the R5 real quick. Like, no question, I'd be in there. Okay, hold up. These shots are too similar. Okay, so that's her not looking. Yeah, we gotta, I don't know what happened. We gotta warm her up. She is too cool. I want my background, I like my greens like a nice cool green, but her skin tone is all looking wonk. And something weird happens with the dynamic range, and it's doing something to the shadows that's like bothering me. Cause you see her face is way too orange right now. So let's go back in. Let's turn down the oranges because I turned them way up. We can cool it nice. Yeah, her face is like totally different than the rest of it. We can turn up the warmth again. I think I'm gonna crop in on one of these. But yeah, the EOS R5 is looking, it's looking beastie. It's looking good. It's looking good. Let's take this one. We're gonna post it across all these. I'll do it on that one too to see if I like it better. I might black and white those too. So yeah, let's sync settings. Is the iPad 2020 worth? If you have a 2018, probably not. If you don't have an iPad, yes, it's worth. I would totally get one, but I have a 2018 and it just like, y'all see hanging out. I love my iPad, it's always hanging out with me. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the dynamic range. And the color, like the colors are all different, but yet the photos are all the same. I don't. Oh, I got 2 of these. Okay, hold up. So you can go. That one's good. And then let's select everything again. Yeah. I've got the R6 on the way, R5. Yeah, this boy, he was in there quick. He said, give it to me. Give me that R5. But yeah, it looks beastie. Any Brennizers in this batch? Yeah, I did one. We looked at it earlier. I'll go back to it in a second for you. August 30th. Oh man, that's like so far. That was like when I ordered the XT4 in like February, and it was like, it's not coming out till late April, and I was like, oh, I gotta wait forever. So we're just warming her up. I'm not sure what happened with the white balance here. And then now that she's too warm, I can actually cool everything down. Yeah, there's something weird. It's like there's too much contrast or something. Hey, why you choose the Radeon 7 and not an NVIDIA card? Because I have a Hackintosh, and Macs do not like NVIDIA cards anymore. Because Apple's over here beefing with NVIDIA, so I thought it would be a better choice. Yeah, what happened here? So yeah, the Radeon 7 gives me a better chance at hacking with my Hackintosh. This is the Windows side of my computer, but I have both. So this side I use for all my professional wedding and photo editing, just to make sure nothing goes wrong with the system. And then my Hackintosh side is where I do all my video editing and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I just had her in weird lighting. I feel like the camera like did something weird. But I had the dynamic range setting to auto, so that's probably what it was. I should have had that thing turned off. I didn't even know what that was. Oh yeah, I forgot the 2x3 all these. Yeah, her skin looks wonk city. What happened? What happened? I really enjoy your live streams because it makes me feel I'm in a work environment and keeps me on track. You know, that's actually half the reason why I also live stream, is not only because it's cool and I like showing y'all what I'm doing, but it helps me edit as well. Because while I'm sitting in front of you, I can't be here just like slacking off like, oh yeah, I'm just hanging out doing whatever here. You know, like I have to edit. Everyone's like, John, what are you editing? Oh, I'm just sitting here doing nothing, you know, like. Are you 2x3? You're not. What is this? What are you? What is that? Okay, wait, did I 2x3 this last one? See, now I don't even know what I'm doing no more. Did pixel, yeah, there's something, I mean, this is a rental, so I don't know if it got dirty or if the pixels are just dead. No, I don't want reference, no. Yeah, a hot pixel. I noticed I got a lot of them at one point on a couple of photos. Yeah, I think that dynamic range setting is why some of these photos look so different, because I was noticing it when I was shooting it. Now that we have that out of the way, I'm hoping to shoot like every day next week or something. Like, really. How hot was it? So hot. I was like just sweating the whole time, like consistent sweat. You know that annoying sweat where like you're not even doing anything, you're just standing there sweating. You're like, I'm not even doing nothing. Can I at least sweat when I'm like running around or something? Like, let's hit this off with some skin smoothing just because it's 100 megapixels and like you can see every pore because there's so much detail in the photo. Yeah, so we're just gonna smooth that out just a little bit. There it goes. Humidity is what, yeah, it really is the humidity. And it just like bogs down on you and you're just it's too hot, I can't breathe. Yeah, I think it's that auto, I'm just gonna take this one out. I think it was that auto dynamic range setting. And it like didn't know what to do. See, look at this. Like one is when, and obviously there's more bokeh here because I'm closer to them, but one is me cropping in on it and one is just the photo, and like I can crop down to get it nearly to the same. It's just crazy. So those are all my Brennizers. I don't remember who that was asking about the Brennizer, but this is it here. So this was the 16:9 crop, but you see this is the whole photo. So I have all this range to play with if I wanted to. This guy was solid gray for a couple days. Oh, I mean, that's great for photos. Did his hair? Yeah, so we got a lot of orange sunsets for like a week. So I'm assuming that was the Sahara sands coming through. What monitor are you using? This is the BenQ PD3200Q. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. Let me see if I can get y'all a link. It's a cool little Also, I love BenQ monitors. They're so good. BenQ PD3200Q. It's a 2K monitor or 1440p. It's a good little monitor. I'm a fan. I have 2 of them. You can't see the other one, but it's right here in front of me. That's the one I'm actually editing on. And this is my additional monitor. So I have 2 monitors in front of me. It's kind of ridiculous. They have a monitor coming out towards the end of the month, which is basically the same monitor as this, but it's ultra wide. So obviously it won't be as wide as these 2 together, but I may try and get one just so I have like one screen. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Let's copy. Also too, what's annoying, when I sit straight and I'm editing, I have to like look to a side. So it'd be nice to be able to just edit up front. Brenizer tutorial, it's coming. So what happened with the Brenizer? Because I know I get a lot of questions about that because I mentioned it in one of my videos. So right before COVID came down, right, I was gonna do the Brenizer, and what I really wanted to do for y'all is show it to you inside the viewfinder too. So I rented an Atomos Ninja 5 or whatever that thing's called, so that I can record what's coming off the camera. And I had it, and I had a shoot set up, and then COVID started going down. So the couple I was gonna work with was like, yeah, we're gonna stay home. And I was like, that's fine. So I wasn't able to do my shoot, and I was super sad about it. But that's how I wanna do that video. I don't wanna just show you, I want you to see it. Like, I want you to see literally what I'm seeing in the viewfinder and how I'm choosing to shoot it. So I don't own the Ninja 5, I need to rent one again. So, you know, now I have to wait. Things are getting a little bit better now, so I'm hoping to get that video in at some point. There go your bugs. I usually just plop them out like this real quick. Here's a close-up. Yeah, that last one was weird. His mouth was weird. Get that horizon straight. Let's 2x3. +1 for ultra wide. It's a game changer for editing, especially. Yeah, I really want it for video, because, or even like, I mean, Mark, you know, like I do audio as well, so it's like having a nice wide, and you could just have your whole timeline. Ugh. Especially when I do those 1 hour long YouTube videos, like it would be nice to just be able to see the whole timeline. I feel like I'm always like zooming in and zooming out, zooming in and zooming out, and scrolling all over the place. These are all basically the same. Oh no, I'll keep them all, whatever. This is what is going on here? And I also did 2x3. See, this is another one where like it's messed up now because I shot it not thinking about the fact that the way it was shooting. Unless, is that a setting? I guess I could set it. No, when you shoot RAW, you can't set the size. Yeah, so that's just how it shoots. But yeah, y'all, I was impressed. So compressed RAW with the 100 megapixel camera, still I was able to get 1200 shots out of a 128 gig card at compressed. Now, so right now this thing is saying I have 1100 shots left on it, right? But if I switch it, let's do uncompressed. I went all the way down to 392. Like, it's crazy. And then let's say you can switch from 16-bit to 14 and 16-bit. Oh, which is not, what? It's not letting me do 16-bit? Oh, well. But yeah, even just full RAW, 392. So these files you're seeing here are compressed RAWs. And if I do lossless, that put me up to 769. I may shoot some of these portrait sessions in full RAW or lossless RAW, just because, you know, with the wedding I wasn't sure, and I wanted to shoot it like I would any of my other cameras and really see what it felt like. But if I'm doing like a portrait session with a model, you know, like I'm more in control of that. I know what's happening. I know how long we're gonna shoot, you know what I mean? So, will you name your son John Branch V? Yes, and I did already. I have 3 kids now, so yep, John Branch V exists. He's real. Hey John, will you be testing process RAW in GFX 100 when it's released? ProRes RAW? I probably won't have it because I don't own this. I just have it for a short moment, so I wish I could test it when it comes out, but I probably won't have it at that point. Y'all can all go tweet at Fujifilm and be like, hey, give John a GFX 100. What angle was I shooting? What did I do? You're gonna crop this all the way and save it. Oh. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. Boom. New photo. New life. And it's still huge. Well, thanks, Jennifer. I can't tell if those are pixels or bugs. It could be either or. Oh, I forgot 2x3. Here we go. So much detail, so good. How to be a Fuji ambassador. I can test ProRes. They just posted something the other day because with all the like diversity stuff going on, they made their statement and were like, hey, we're gonna, you know, we don't have any diversity. We're messed up. So we're gonna fix it, and here is our process. Fuji Rumors posted about it too. Let me see if I can find that article for y'all, because it's kind of cool. There's like a whole process to becoming a Fuji ambassador now. So now the chances of me becoming an ex-photographer are way more realistic, because I used to look into it all the time. I used to look into it and I was like, who do you contact to become an ex-photographer? I just couldn't find it. There were no emails, there was nothing. It was just like the hardest thing to find. Oh, I thought I was done. I was like, oh, I've edited everything. I forgot I skipped to the bottom. I'm just gonna go to Fuji Rumors. I'm pretty sure they had the stuff there. Oh yeah, there's an update for the XT4, right? I need to. Yeah, XT4 firmware update helps the IBIS, but makes boost mode worse. Huh. Fujifilm XT4 firmware. Video autofocus comparison with the 56 shows significant improvement. Nice. The 56 is like the worst when it comes to continuous autofocus in video. It is like the worst. I don't think I've ever seen a camera so bad. I've never updated the firmware on any camera. Is it necessary? Yes. At least for mirrorless cameras. Because there's just like, they make a lot of changes to the camera that's very much worth that you're gonna want to check out. Okay, there's like too much news since they posted that, so I'm not gonna sit here searching for it. Fuji X Raw Studio and Tether plugin Pro for Adobe software. What is this? Yeah, if you're Fuji shooters and y'all don't stay up on Fuji rumors, you should. It's a really good site. I didn't even know there was a tether program. I wish you could tether to iPads. That's my like hopes and dreams. We have enough of this photo. Let's go ahead and just sync across here. But yeah, I'm kind of scared now if they're saying it messed up the IBIS. I don't like Fuji Live View app. Always glitches for me. Yeah, the Fuji app isn't really the greatest. Fuji old lenses using stepping motors, so video autofocus is really bad. Yeah, that's like that's what I was talking about with like this 63 versus the 110. It's like the old focusing system versus the new. The new focusing system is so much better. It's so much better. This is one of those photos where it's so dark in the background, I could just make the background disappear. So everyone, like, yeah, so obviously Photoshop is the best for this kind of stuff, but you can do creative edits and stuff inside of Lightroom. You can do it. Is it the best option? No, but it's possible. Lightroom's tools have gotten way better. Yeah, they're like there's a lot. I'm always so surprised at what you can pull off inside of just Lightroom alone. And because of that, I rarely use Photoshop. It's just nicer to stay in one program. I also don't know Photoshop. Like, I know Lightroom well. I teach classes on it. Like, I know Lightroom at this point. Well, outdoor photography, what lighting equipment do you use? None. I'm fully natural light photographer, so I don't use any lighting at all. I just know where to be with my light and go from there. So this is not gonna work out, mainly because, especially with his hairline and stuff, like he's gonna fit in there too much. Let's turn that highlight down too. Okay, so now they're by themselves. We got this black, and then obviously if I turn up the exposure, it's gonna, oh no, the background's exposed hard enough. This would work better as a black and white. Actually, will it? Kind of looks weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Stepping away for a minute. Bye-bye, Mark. See you in a moment. I don't know how I feel about this. Waiting for Fuji to release GFX modular camera with global shutter and better GFX lenses. Sparklers in the backs. Yeah, this would be hype. What monitor brand model are you using? This is BenQ. All right, I think I'm back. Sorry, y'all. My whole computer just randomly restarted on me. Did I lose everybody too? I lost a lot of people. Everybody left me. Let's get this thing back up and running. Let's get my Lightroom back up in there. Everyone's like, what happened to him? No, so it's weird, right? My when I'm on the Windows side of my computer, it randomly restarts like that sometimes, and I don't know why. It didn't do it for like a year or two, and then all of a sudden it does it now. It just out of the blue will restart for no reason. So yeah, I don't know what that's about, but now y'all get to see me set up my stream. Uh-oh. Oh no, that was the song. I was like, not again. Please, not again. Lightroom over here freaking out. The thing is though, I don't think it's the Hackintosh. I think it's just Windows. When I'm on the Mac side, it's just fine. Uh-oh, are you... It's only when I'm using, really, Lightroom? Come on. Did a speed test. You're like, what happened? I mean, I'm also streaming at like 1440p. So that probably doesn't help. Lightroom. It's not that hard. You good? You fine? You in there? Okay, we back. We back in there. I'm trying to finish up these GFX photos, and then I do need to hop out and do other work. I still got clients. I gotta, you know, I gotta keep up with the emails. I gotta talk to them and things. But yeah, here's yet again more proof that you can do creative edits in Lightroom. You don't need Photoshop. Did I 2x3 this yet? I did. Sometimes I look at my pictures small like this to make sure I like how they look. See if I can center them up a little bit. While shooting in camera, oh, let me pull this out again, my chat, so I can see y'all. Here we go. While shooting in camera, do you use any color profile? I do. I use the classic chrome is my go-to. Wow, that thing is so sharp still too. That's crazy. Let's 2x3 this. And then we got either dead pixels or bugs. I don't know what they are. Also too, I don't know how long my camera can hold out. You know, like after a while it's gonna overheat, so, and I've been going for what, 3 hours now? Yeah, my XT3 is like, I'm hot. Actually, you know what, let me turn on the air conditioning, that might at least help it a little bit. All right, so we got some air conditioning for the XT3. Trying to help them out. Hey John, can you recover shadows from that underexposed picture? Which underexposed one? This one here where I silhouetted them? That's a little rough. I mean, I underexposed it on purpose, but ew. Ew. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna shadow save plus. I mean, it's definitely saved, but it's a little rough looking. I mean, it was pretty heavily underexposed, so. You know, obviously I underexposed it on purpose, so. Let's see if I can. Ew. I mean, that's like a rough edit, but it's not horrible. That's pretty decent. There were like dudes back here playing frisbee or something. I don't know what this is. Oh, what happened? Oh yeah, okay. So how many stops of shadow can you recover for a clean, usable image? I am not sure. I haven't tested that yet. I mean, I think it looks, if I exported this, I think it looks pretty good. Oh, Lightroom freaking out. Let me give it a 2x3 crop. What do you use for sharpening? I do all my sharpening in exposure. And and I do it at the JPEG stage. So I export my photos first. Did it sync? So yeah, this is like a distraction. And I'm actually gonna, I just want to see them just a little bit. Hit this off with that 2x3. All right, what do we have left? We have these shots here, which, let me take some out. We have all the family shots. We have some of them dancing. There's still a lot left. I'm going way slower than I normally do. I mean, this is 137 photos though. This is like the bulk of all the photos. I mainly shot all of this with the GFX. You know, I wonder if it's the highlight. Maybe I can, yeah. Yeah, because she has the light like right on her. Okay, so these I should be able to just sync across the board. Now the problem with the white balance in these photos is, oh, I got people subbing. Thanks for the sub. But yeah, I got I had the white balance. I had to paint in white balance on them, and I think when I sync these settings, it's gonna show. I'm gonna black and white one of them, and I might not even be able to crop this in a 2x3. Oh no, it works. Okay, I didn't frame it for 2x3, so kind of messed up there. This one is fine because I have all this extra space. Yeah, let's warm them up a bit. How do you avoid noise on your pictures? You do quite a lot of editing, but don't lose quality. That's impressive. Well, first off, just for these photos aside, I mean, it's a 100 megapixel, you know, so it has a lot. Warmer plus feels like it's too much. So yeah, if you see me cropping hard right now, I normally don't do that. This is because it's 100 megapixels, so I actually can. But for the most part, like, I don't know, I try my best to get things right in camera. If you get it right in camera first, you're usually good to go. You shouldn't be adding any additional noise to your photos after the fact. Yeah, that looks like a dead pixel or something. I don't. They're like too warm or something. I'm actually gonna take this one out. What happened here? And then 2x3. Lightroom had no idea what it was doing when it came to lining that up, so let's actually rotate that back. Yeah, generally I don't like to be in a space where I have to do all these paint on edits. Half the time I'm doing it if it's like the white balance is just weird and people's skin tone looks off to me. But yeah, this takes up so much time that's just like not needed. Paint this all in. Missed a spot here. There we go. Cool. Let's see if these edits will hold up across all these photos. I want to update my my screen layout that y'all are seeing. This left side just being white and sad like that, I don't know, it makes me sad. I want to put something there like a video or something that moves or something cool. I'm gonna figure it out at some point. I'm gonna get it in there. I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, yeah, it got most of it. Play music or animation. So I have music on right now, but it's probably mad quiet, right? I don't know if y'all can hear it or not. Yeah, I might figure out an animation or something that shows off like all my social and all that good kind of stuff. I could probably figure out something. Yeah, I think I can figure out something. Okay, so since this is kind of the main scene, is there... Yeah, the noise reduction is too much. The camera has so much resolution on it that if there's even a little bit of noise reduction, I can see it. Yeah, we'll sync that through all these. Those ones at the end is gonna be kind of too dark. Yeah, I think I can figure out some stuff I can put in that white space. Because the chat, it doesn't take up the whole space over there, so. What'd you miss? My computer restarted on me randomly. And everyone thought their computers had died, and I came back, and here I am. I watch anime between editing pictures. Nice. Are you you watch dub or subbed? Cause see, I would love to watch anime while I edit, but I watch subbed. So obviously I have to read it. So I miss the whole thing if I'm, you know, I can't read and edit. So if I'm watching anime, I'm usually just, that's all I'm doing is watching some anime. What are you watching right now? You have any favorites or anything you're really into at the moment? Wait, I forgot the 2x3 it. Dubbed and sub both. I understand Japanese. Nice. Yeah, I wish I understood it enough. My brother actually, he's in Japan right now. He's teaching English. He's been living over there for about a year and some change now. So that's always cool. I want to visit. I want to go to Japan. What happened? It's like not straight. There we go. It's like too warm or something. I can't speak quite fluently, but I understand. Nice. The oldest, and I have been watching DBZ Kai. Nice. Bringing it back. Yeah, I haven't watched anything fairly regularly in a while. So I'm way behind. I've been trying to make myself watch Boruto. I'm sure everyone has thoughts about Boruto, but I don't think it's so bad. It's kind of cool seeing all the characters when they're like older and stuff too. Okay, so these next couple of photos is just them cake cutting. I should be able to sync and also sync the crop. Yeah. When you crop pictures, you cut right where people's knees are, so the pictures. Yeah, so the biggest thing with what's happening now with my crops is that this is a medium format camera, so the aspect ratio is different. And when I was shooting it in the first place, I didn't realize that. So I'm cropping it to match my X-T3 with the 2:3 ratio, but I didn't frame it like that. So some of my crops are wonk city, and that's just kind of what's happening. Like, I try my best not to, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so there's our cake cut. Most of the family shots were done with the X-T3. Attack on Titan, yeah. Hunter x Hunter, yeah. I wish there were more episodes of Hunter x Hunter. But we already know about that. Naruto, Boruto, Dragon Ball Z, Super, GF, Fate, all the Fates. The first one I was introduced to was Fate. What was it? The Zero one, which is like so good. So then when I went and watched the other ones that weren't really produced, like they were a movie, I guess, I was just always like, oh, but Fate Zero was so good. Like, what happened? My whole phone blowing up. Oh, people over here FaceTiming. Hunter x Hunter is my favorite, but the writers on hiatus, yeah. Hunter x Hunter was really good. And then, you know, like, it's the worst hiatus because, you know, you had the whole stuff with Gon on the, with the Chimera ants or whatever. And that was like, bruh. And that thing ended. And then you had whatever that thing with the whole wishing thing. And then they were just like, okay, it's kind of done. And you're like, what happened? Like, how y'all gonna end off like that? Oh yeah, One Punch Man, yes. My Hero Academia is the one that I keep up with the most so far. Yeah, the Fate Stay stuff is good. Yeah, I'm glad there's so many. We got the anime folks up in here. How do you decide what crop to make, especially when there are multiple good options to do with it? I don't know. I just kind of make a choice and do it real quick. I try not to think about it too hard because the moment you start thinking about it too hard, you start editing slow. And for me, speed is the point. Because I'm a wedding photographer and I have thousands of photos I gotta get through. So when the crop feels good to me, then it is good. Yeah, these GFX files are so good. This camera is so good. Like really. Like really. And then we're gonna sync this with the other photo. Yeah, crop for focus in particular. So that's pretty much it. Sometimes, like, I know rules are good, but sometimes, oh, I still had the crop on, I didn't realize. Sometimes people get too caught up in the rules and like lose their creative side of stuff. And I learned a lot of that from when I was doing music. Like when you concern yourself too much with like the perfection of rules and don't crop here and make sure you see people's feet and da 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 da, you end up losing. There's something you lose sometimes. So I'm not saying disregard the rules, but on the same end, just be aware that sometimes, you know, you can bend them rules a little bit. Nothing wrong with it. Is there a particular website that you can recommend for wedding album prints and what size? I shot a few weddings, but this is the first time a couple's asking for wedding prints. So, you know, actually, surprisingly enough, and people are always surprised when I bring this up, I am a huge fan of Artifact Uprising. And this is not even like what I would consider like professional prints. But they have, yeah, you can get your large format prints. And they go 8x10 all the way up to a 60x40, which I probably should print that Brennheiser in a 60x40. I mean, come on, 60x40 is only $160 and 8x10 is $20. I have some. Here, let me show y'all real quick. If you follow the rules too closely, you run the risk of things getting stale. Exactly. So yeah, like see, Artifact Uprising. Like I said, I'm a fan. These are all, I think, 10 by or 11 by 14s. All these prints on the wall behind me, those are all Artifact. I just like the way their prints come out. I had a bridal shoot I did. I delivered an Artifact to her. So like, I like it. The colors come out looking good. It's like a matte finish. And it's not too expensive, which is nice. Especially if you're starting out. So I mean, yeah. I mean, like, it looks good. They print on recycled paper. Oh, you know what I can do? I forgot I have different scenes. Now you can see me. But yeah, like, they print on recycled paper. The stuff looks good. This is not them. Yeah, I'm always happy with the way the colors come out. Everything looks pretty decent. Miller's is great. For albums now, I've been getting kind of picky. I use Red Tree album. Red Tree is kind of expensive, but they only let professional photographers actually buy albums from them. So like Artifact, this stuff is public. Anybody can buy this stuff, but Red Tree is specifically like, you have to be a photographer, like a working photographer, to order albums from us. But I mean, yeah, these prints turn out pretty good. Looking pretty good. I like it. But they all have a matte finish. This is not them. This is like a normal paper. And I mean, this is fine too. All these prints too are without being calibrated. This is non-calibrated stuff. This is just right off my BenQ monitors. You can link up pro print shops and places. Yep. Pixie Set. Yep. That's what PicTime's like that too. They have all this stuff like built into it. So I love stuff like that with Pixie Set, where your clients, they pick what they want, and then you're like, yeah, I print through whoever. And so all they got to do is go in there and like buy it. And then after they buy it, that's just kind of it. You know, it ships it to them. You don't have to do nothing. Yeah, it's a good place to start out. If you're starting to do like higher end stuff, I wouldn't recommend it for the whole time. Okay, we're almost done here. Let's do these last couple of GFX. And then I gotta like eat and live my life and stuff. So we're syncing settings right now, and I think I was an idiot and forgot to turn off crop, so now it's gonna have like, all these are gonna be cropped all over the place, but whatever. Whatever, we'll deal with it. Yeah, it definitely is pasting slower than usual because these GFX files are so big, yeah. I gotta undo that. That was unacceptable. I done messed myself. Let's sync again and turn off crop. All right, and then we go through and we clean them all up. Ooh. I forgot you could change the aspect of the photos like that. I love to include all the like fun photos like this. Yeah, these files are so good. It's how I can just crop in as much as I want. It's so good. I have another question. Has a client ever complained about the edit you did to their photo? Yeah, I've had some horror stories with edits before, and I've also had some general. So I'm always open with my clients to talk about the edits, but one thing is when I meet with them, really vetting them and making sure that they know what my style is. Because the main thing here is like, when you're hiring a photographer, right? You're hiring them for their style and how they shoot and all that stuff. So I make sure that my couples understand my approach and my style, and that they like it and they want it. Hey Victor, what's up? So that's the first thing. And that's gonna make it so that you don't get a lot of couples who are just like, I don't like any of these photos. So that's the first step. And that's probably the most important. And then after that, I've had a couple times where like, either something about the edit, like let's say the bride didn't like. I had one where the makeup artist, the way she did the makeup and how the lighting was made it look like she had dark circles. There's like stuff like that. And usually, yet again, because I've already vetted my couples, if I get something like that, it's less of a, I don't like your edit, and more of a, hey, there's something about this photo that troubles me. And they usually only bring it up about photos that they really like. So they're like, I really like this photo, but something in it doesn't fit with me. And that's usually how it comes up. I have had a bride in the past who became what I call a post-bridezilla, a post-wedding bridezilla. And it was over edits, and it was just the worst situation. And that's where I learned to make sure that like my couples really understand my style and my approach, and that they like it. And it's less of a thing that I do just to save myself kind of thing. It's more so too like, I want my couple to be happy with the stuff that they're getting. And if they're not happy with my style and my approach, then I'd rather them work with another photographer. Because at the end of the day, for me, this job is about the couple, mainly. First and foremost, that is like the main point. So, you know, I don't want it to turn into like, this is all about me. So if I have a couple and in our meeting, it seems like they're not gonna like my style, or they're not sure, or my style doesn't totally fit what their expectation is for their photos, I will tell them that I'm not the best photographer for them, and then recommend them to some other photographers and go from there. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's their wedding day, and I want them to be happy with all of it. So, you know, it saves me from having to deal with issues, and it also saves them from having to deal with issues. And in the end, they'll probably be happier with their work. So that's why I do that. Like I literally would be like, I'm probably not the photographer for you because my approach and style. I like your style and color and composition. What presets are you using? This is my personal preset. Personal preset that I made myself. It took me 50 years to create. What editing software? This is Lightroom. Lightroom CC. Let me drop my preset in there for y'all real quick. You can check it out here if you want to. It works on all camera systems. It's not specific to Fuji. GFX colors, it's not even close to Hasselblad. Why is it so dark? I did have the I had a dynamic range setting on, but this is typical to Fuji. Like, this looks like a Fuji to me. What happened? Are you talking about that wedding? It was a sad story, and I'm luckily it didn't turn into something too big, but it taught me a lot of lessons. This was early on. I was maybe in my second year of being a wedding photographer, but basically, you know, I had this couple, we booked a wedding, everything was cool. The wedding was cool. The wedding day was awesome. The pictures were awesome. They were literally the best photos I had ever taken. Everyone was happy. It was cool. Get home, edit the photos, deliver the photos, and like immediately after delivering, she was just like, "Oh, I hate these photos. They don't look great. Did you even edit these? I have an app on my phone that I can edit them better than this if you want me to, blah, blah, blah." So then I was like, okay, you know, let's figure this out. What's the problem? I don't understand what's going on. And we chatted about it back and forth, and she had all these issues. And at the end of all the back and forth, you know, I had to be like, okay, look, because she wanted all the photos. I couldn't tell if she was just trying to like get over on me or not. That's what it felt like. But yet again, I don't try to, you know, put anything on anyone. So I don't know what happened, but at the end of all the back and forth, I was like, okay, I'm going to give you a small refund, and you can take that refund and, you know, make your album with it after you edit the photos. And I'm going to give you all of the photos, JPEG, not RAW. So I did that. And then we didn't talk for a couple months. And then a couple months later, she comes back and she's like, "Hey, I was trying to print this photo and it looks like crap." And I was like, well, okay. You know, I gave them the full resolution things, but with printing, there's so many things that can go on. So I was just like, you know, how are you printing it? What is the size of the file? Did you change the file? I don't know what you did. You've been editing stuff. Did you edit it on your phone and it gave you a lower resolution, which probably happened? And I was just like, you know, trying to help you print it. And she was just mad. So at that point, she started doing, what do they call it? Like drawbacks on your credit card, where you like, you know, you report someone and being like, oh, chargebacks. Yeah, she started doing chargebacks on her credit card, so that she could basically get more of her money back. And so yeah, so then I had to deal with that. She did it twice, so she got half her money back, and then I had to be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna have to take you to court if you keep doing this, because I fulfilled everything in the contract, and these photos look up to par with my normal work. It's not like they're bad, you know. It's not like, you know, those stories of when people hire a photographer and then the photos they deliver is like totally different from what you saw on the website. It wasn't one of those. Like I said, at the time, it was one of my best weddings. So I had to be like, you know, I did what I was supposed to do. So if you keep doing this, I'm gonna have to take you to court. So she stopped. And I decided not to take her to court because I just didn't feel like dealing with all of it. But I did go to my credit card, the people taking the money for me, which was Square. So I went to Square and was like, hey, so this thing happened, you know, I went through and I have, you know, all the proof. I have the contract. I have everything. So basically by her doing chargeback, she's initially breaking the contract because I did my side of everything. And so I was like, hey, she shouldn't be able to do these chargebacks. And they actually took her side. So the bank sided with her, which is a normal thing. Banks tend to side with the customer against the business. That's like normal. So yeah, and that was the end of that story. I learned a lot from it, so I'm grateful for what I've learned. But it was sad. It was stressful. It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm sad that I had to deal with all that, but you know, it is what it is. So there we go, folks. A whole bunch of GFX photos. This one's still looking kind of wonky to me. I'm gonna turn up the highlights a little bit. GFX photos all nice and edited. How good. This is just a tiny bit too magenta. I get a little heavy-handed with the magenta sometimes. Did you go to school for photography? No, I did not. I'm all self-taught. I went to school for music production and sound design, so that's my main bread and butter. You see my little keyboard in the back there. I don't do music as much as I used to, but self-taught took me a couple years. I kind of had a natural talent for it, so it came easy, and then I took the time to learn it, because that's one of my pet peeves is, you know, people just buy cameras and they're like, I'm a photographer. You know, no offense to anybody, but like, at least try to understand it. Like, take the time to learn it before you start charging people money. Did you optimize your screens and how? I use Windows system. No, no color calibration on these. BenQ monitors are made for professional like editors and colorists and all that type of stuff. So they're like 100% sRGB. Obviously, yes, calibrating them is the best choice, but these monitors are really good to that point that like you can get by with not actually calibrating them and, you know, get fairly accurate prints. Looking back, any red flags that could have prevented from engaging booking with this client? Yeah, so when we met twice. Actually, the biggest red flag, which unfortunately came like right before the wedding, and this is why yet again I've gotten much better at vetting this stuff. She said a couple of things when we met one last time right before the wedding, which I meet with my couples at least twice, if not more. So first, before booking, we meet, and they just seemed kind of like, yeah, whatever, oh, it's cool, yay, let's book, you're great, whatever, here's some money. That's kind of a bad sign. Like, you as a photographer probably sitting there like, yeah, they're trying to book me, this is hype, it's gonna be awesome. Make sure you really talk to them and be like, do you like my stuff? When you go on my website, are there things about some of the photos that you don't like? You know, I do X, Y, and Z. Like, I like my black and white super grainy. Do you look at that and you go, oh, why does it look like that? Because if so, you probably don't like my style. And that's fine. So there was that. And then, yeah, when we met right before the wedding, which was like a day or two, she was talking about how something about her husband-to-be smiled and a couple of other things. And I was like, I don't know. So, but yeah, I make it a big point now when I talk to couples to be like, look at my work, look at it, and make sure you like it. I actually use, so with that story, the part I left out is before she started doing chargebacks, she left 1-star reviews for me everywhere on the internet. Any kind of account I ever had that 1-star review on it everywhere. Like accounts that I didn't even know I had, she left it like everywhere. So I actually use that 1-star review as my point when I'm talking to couples, because everyone sees the review and they're like, she's crazy, because I responded to it and I had a link to the photos. Like, you can look at the photos, they look great, so I don't know what happened. And so everyone who sees it and responds are like, oh, she's crazy. So I actually talk to my couples about how if we're not communicating well and you're not honest with me about how you like your photos, this is the kind of stuff that happens, you know? So I'm not blaming her and I'm not blaming me. I did what I was supposed to do, and I guess whatever she was looking for was not what I normally do. So just make sure that's not you, because I want you to be happy with your wedding photos. And I use it as a way to vet out people who probably won't like me, or the people who really do like me understand and they're like, yeah, that's fine. We know we like you, and we appreciate the fact that you take the time and communication to want to make sure that we're happy with everything. So, you know, that's the biggest thing. Take your losses and use them. You know, make lemonade out of lemons. Don't just go, oh, this is the worst situation I ever dealt with in my whole life. That's not, you can't be an entrepreneur if you think like that, you know? She literally got away with a credit card fraud. I mean, yeah, I should have taken her to court, and I would have won in small claims courts. I would have won. I had all the proof there was all kinds of crazy things where she was like, oh, my eyes are closed in like most of the photos. And I literally would go in and zoom in 100%, you know, like the size of the actual photo and be like, your eyes aren't closed. Your eyelashes, your fake lashes were too big. And when people smile, they squint their eyes. That's like, it happens. And some people more than others squint even harder. So like, no, you were just very happy. It was a beautiful day. Like, you know, you can't smile like, you know, you look weird if you're smiling and like your eyes are open. You're like, I'm so happy. You know, like that's not how people look. Like even like my eyes, like everyone's eyes close up when you smile. That's what they do. So, I mean, I had like long email thread. I had the contract. I had all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that was a while. That was like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Aw. Bye, Reggie. I miss you. BenQ Factory calibrates sRGB, sometimes DCP. Yeah, from fact, the stuff looks good. Like I've never gotten a print and I was like, what happened? Very good wedding photos. Thank you so much. Music education, awesome. That's good stuff. All right, folks, that's a good spot. I'm gonna jump off of here. I appreciate you all hanging out with me, and I hope you enjoyed watching the GFX photos. I'm actually gonna hop off and probably export most of these photos and start delivering them. And I got some other work to do because that's the life of a creative entrepreneur. But thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for giving me someone to talk to while I did my work. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. Also, don't forget to leave me any comments in the comments on this video, whatever stuff you want to see. The next couple of weeks, since I have this beauty for about 2 weeks, I'm going to start trying to do a lot of content on it. I'm going to do X-T4 versus the GFX. We'll try and do same focal length, see the differences, and a couple more shoots. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, I plan on doing like an overall thoughts on the camera and a real usage situation. Because most of the videos right now, most of them, there's a couple, but the majority of them are just people being like, I got a GFX, it takes pictures. And you're like, well, yeah, but you know, like, is it worth it for me, a normal working photographer, to blow like 30K on the system? So yeah, keep hanging out for that stuff. It'll come up. And thanks again, y'all. Have a great weekend. Don't work too hard. Take it easy. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Get hydrated. And I'll catch y'all next time. All right. Peace.